It's a United States love affair with Formula One at the moment, so what a thrill for everyone today to see our drivers lapping COTA at full hot lap speed. It's the Circuit of the Americas, and it's qualifying.
Radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend, so we'll see you all tomorrow. So it's all about speed in today's sprint, not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? It's the Circuit of the Americas then, situated 14 miles outside of the great city of Austin. This is a 3.6-mile lap with 20 corners, 10 to the left and 10 to the right, and top speeds of around 200 miles per hour. Overtaking opportunities are available into turns 1 and 12, especially with that rear wing DRS wide open. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Michael Schumacher, Hamilton, Ayrton Senna and Verstappen, Piastri, Ocon, Tsunoda and Alex Albon, Antonelli, Behrman, Mika Hakkinen and Colapinto, Bortoletto, Hulkenberg, Isaac Hadjar and Tim Tramnitz, Aaron, Doohan, Gasly and Zach O'Sullivan rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Look, we know it's not where you start, it's where you finish, but let's talk about the start now. What's there to help the drivers get away well?
Big pressure at the start of the race, Crofty, for all of them up and down the grid, no matter where you are. But the drivers these days, They practice, practice and practice. They have rigs with them at the circuit where they can sit down with the actual steering wheel from the real car, and they've got lights that they react to. The clutch paddle is tailored around the driver's hands, around their fingers, so they can have optimum position before they start. So there's so much thought and effort that goes into getting these cars off the line.
Okay, give me a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Yeah, everyone at the factory as well. You guys, the upgrades, all the hard work at the factory to get this ready. This is for all the hard work, thank you.
So that wraps up the sprint race, but there's still more action yet to come this weekend. We've got qualifying and, of course, the Grand Prix. It's a United States love affair with Formula One at the moment, so what a thrill for everyone today to see our drivers lapping COTA at full hot lap speed. It's the Circuit of the Americas, and it's qualifying.
All right, let's have a quick radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Here's a quick position rundown for you. The top 5 are... Okay, so the current fastest lap, 1:30.8. Schumacher, Leclerc, Piastri, Hamilton and Verstappen.
Well, you don't need me to remind you that Formula One is now so beloved in the United States that we race here 3 times a year. But let's give respect to COTA, or the Circuit of the Americas, to give it its full name. This place laid the foundations for this moment and still remains the host of the US Grand Prix. We're racing then today in Travis County, Texas, around the 20 corners of this wonderful Circuit of the Americas. We'll be reaching speeds of around 200 miles per hour here today, and there are plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the 2 DRS zones into Turn 1 and the long back straight into Turn 12. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Michael Schumacher yesterday puts him on pole position, just edging out Alex Albon, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Piastri, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Verstappen, Tsunoda, Senna, Ocon, and George Russell, Hakkinen, Colapinto, Ollie Behrman, and Tramnitz, Hadja, Bortoletto, Nico Hülkenberg, and Pierre Gasly. Doohan, O'Sullivan, Aaron, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me today, a man who I'm always pleased to see join me in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday. But in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was about 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometers an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow-speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
Okay, radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. Okay, good parking there, mate. Now we need to make sure we get a great launch as the race starts. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch. Now use DRS. DRS now available. Second place, you're in second place. And that's Schumacher ahead. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on fresh mediums. Car behind is Lewis. They're on fresh mediums. Pit window opens in 12 laps time. 12 laps. 27 laps to go. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far. Try to stay with them. They might make a mistake and we could still regain the position. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good. Okay, off we go, back into the race. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Lewis is in the pits now. Leclerc ahead, and the time last lap, 1 minute 35.5. Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by, 7.4 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 6 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. car behind you's just come in for the hard tyres. Car behind running hard tyres. You're in first position, front of the pack. Piastri's behind you now. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 3.9 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. They're in fourth. Time last lap, 1:38.5. You're leading the pack, that's P1. Piastri's behind. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. 2 laps left. Next time by will be your final lap. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap. Okay, as things stand, we'll be third in the championship. Oh, you worked hard for that one. Congratulations, well done.
This has been a magnificent drive. Hats off, massive applause, and take a bow. Alex Albon.
To overcome the difficult circumstances they face throughout this race today, Crofty, it's not easy, and it really shows a lot of maturity, and you can use this, you can draw on this as a driver moving forward and boost your confidence through the rest of the championship.
It's time for our podium celebrations, and as ever in Formula One, 3 is the magic number. And taking the very top spot, congratulations, Alex Albon. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Boss, we need your attention on something, please. Hey, me again. Got another question for you.
Chief, I must remind you that we have parts fully researched that are waiting for development. Let's get that performance on the car.
I've heard back about a positive outcome on this one.
Hey, Chief. We have a part or two ready for development because they finished research. Let's get that in motion, shall we? Head to engineering for more